see, reason why we put this session is exclusively for like a statistics students, particularly for statistics and data science students. They want to enter into corporate. If they want to enter into corporate, what is required and how we want to learn the subject. These are all the things I'm going to explain here. Can you please mute yourself? A lot of people, lot of background noise is coming up. Can you please mute yourself, please? Pravalika and Abhinaya and those people. Yeah. Okay. When you see this one, so this is okay. Because a lot of people are still joining, but it's okay. It's fine. We can do these things. So So this is a little bit about myself, and you can find my information, my profile, everything in LinkedIn also here. I'm with the big pharma company as a data scientist right now. And of course, this my profession, I'm a data scientist and a statistician. This is a little bit about my profile. And now our approach is very straightforward. Another meaning of real happiness is quality education. So quality education is the more important if you want to get into the corporate. They are looking for return of investment. Investment means if the people wants to invest the money, by end of the day they want to get the returns. For example, now you people are investing your valuable time at the college. By end of the day you want to get the results. As a data science student or a statistics student, no matter what it is, by end of the day you want to get into corporate. So how we want to get into corporate, what type of skills is required to become like a data scientist or even machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning. These are all the things. Some coming back to here. See, when you see this slide, success and excuses do not talk together. If you want excuses, forget about success. If you want success, don't give any excuses. So my time is like around 2 o'clock is our meeting, means 2 o'clock I started this meeting. That's the same thing. There is no excuse, even though it's midnight, early morning 4:30 for me. Right now I'm in US. So it doesn't matter. If I made a commitment, you need to honor it. That's all it is. So education is the best friend. An educated person is respected everywhere. Education beats the beauty and the youth. So most important is education. That's what I'm clearly mentioned about the another meaning of real happiness is quality education, first of all. When you see the next one is like a triangle of success. In this triangle of success, ask is the very, very important. A represent attitude, S represent skills, and K represents knowledge. So here the knowledge is comes from your college. Skills you will get it some other sources like time management, reasoning, communication, interpersonal skills. The most important is attitude. That is self motivation, self confidence, integrity, honesty, optimism, enthusiasm, cooperation, and commitment. These are all you need to develop your own first of all. That's very, very important. Make sure that everybody familiar with these ask attitude and skills and knowledge. Now coming back to here, what is exactly statistical programming? Statistical programming is crucial for both statistics and data science for various reasons, because without statistics, nobody is going to take a wise decision, first of all. Nobody is going to take a wise decision. So that means we want to, because we are working with data. Most of the times we are working with data. Where the data is going to be stored? Data stored in a database. So we need to communicate with the data. How we are going to communicate with your data? There is a language, structured query language, SQL. SQL is the language for communicating the databases. So if you want to become like a data scientist, or if you want to become like artificial intelligence, some other areas, you must familiar with a certain skill set. Certain skill set is required first of all. Now, when you see this one is, suppose everybody wants to go to software side. Everybody. Suppose when you see this one, 100% everybody, I want to get into software side. I want to get into artificial intelligence or machine learning, etc. How many of you familiar with the SDLC, software development life cycle? When you see this requirement analysis, defining, designing, coding, testing, deployment, maintenance, that is a cycle. You need to go with all these phases. You must familiar with how to gather the requirements. That means how to collect the data, how to analyze the data, how to present the data, how we want to conclude all these things. You need to correlate what exactly you know that and what you don't know that. So that is the concept behind it is. Behind it is. Now we are going back to here. Suppose in case of statistical programming, when you see this data manipulation, the most important is data manipulation. For example, statistical programming languages like SAS, Statistical Analysis System, or project or programming. Python. These are all the very powerful tools for data manipulation, data manipulation or data transformation. They offer so many like procedures. You don't need to worry about writing a hard coding for like C or C++ or even sometimes Java. No, not like that. Because these programming, statistical programming languages already created so many libraries, so many procedures. Simply we need to call that procedure and pushing the data, and you will get a results. So these procedures like pandas, dplyr is in R programming, which enable us to clean the data, transform the data, and prepare the data for analysis efficiently. If you want to analyze the data efficiently, you need to clean the data first of all. If you have a clean the data, then only your analysis is correct. Otherwise, it's not correct. So that means data manipulation is the very important. See here, I am not going to teach anything of your statistics, but whereas I'm going to give a cream means the other end of the layer, what exactly is required to become like a data scientist. So that's what exactly. So data manipulation, how we want to do those things. So this session is almost like a 2.5 hours, 3 hours session. Last 1 hour is exclusively for SAS workshop. On the time, we are going to run the programs like ANOVA, like, box plot, etc. Those type of programs we are going to run. So that's where you will be familiar with how powerful it is, how powerful. We are going to discuss those things. And any questions, don't be hesitate. You can put in a chat window. Definitely we are going to answer each and every question for sure, for sure. Okay. Now, so what is exactly manipulation? Manipulation is a process of transforming, how to transform the data, cleaning the data, and prepare raw data into more structured format. Raw data is like messy, for example. You need to clean the data, and we want to make it a very structured format. That structured format is useful for analysis. So it's a very fundamental step how to manipulate the data, how to clean the data. Those are all very important. It is a fundamental step in data analysis pipeline and is essential for extracting meaningful insights from the data. So what is exactly data science? Everybody thinks about like data science. Everybody thinks about like data science means what is exactly science? Science means the process of finding the truth. Process of finding the truth is nothing but science. Data science, you need to identify the truth in a data. How you want to do this? Using with your statistical methodology. Using with your statistical methodology, you are going to do all those things. So that is the reason business, And the knowledge in statistics is required for become like a data scientist. Suppose if you want to go like a machine learning, for example, if you want to go to machine learning, a programming language is required. It may be like R, it may be like SAS, it may be like Python is required. But most important is regression analysis, decision trees, forecasting. So without these concepts, you are not going to become like a machine learning. Not 100%. That is the concept behind it is. That is the reason we organized this session. If tomorrow when you are going for interview, people are asking a simple question, like a very simple question. Who need quality? Who need quality? That means we have like a customer and manufacturer. Like customer and man, most of the times people think that, oh, customer needs the quality. Customer needs the quality most of the times. Suppose if I am using iPhone, somebody using Samsung, somebody using Nokia, somebody using some other phone, because customer has so many preferences, so many preferences. But manufacturer, he don't have any preference. He must maintain the quality, otherwise he will be out of the market, out of the race, out of the market. So that means manufacturer, he wants to improve the quality without affecting cost considerations, without affecting cost considerations. For that case, a statistics knowledge is required, like analysis of variance, separation of variation into meaningful components. For example, control chart. A control chart is conceived and devised by the Shivot, is a simple pictorial device for detecting unnatural patterns of variations of data. See, unnatural patterns of variations of data. This is the central line. This is upper control limit, lower control limit. Using with our normal distribution, 3 sigma control limits. First of all, I want to prove that my product should be in these two lines, upper control, lower control limit. Then I want to improve the quality without affecting cost considerations. These are all the things is required. Tomorrow when you are going for interview, you need to explain them your statistical concepts, statistical methodology into business. Then only you are able to get a success. Okay. Now, data cleaning and data transformation. Data is collected from various sources, various sources. It may contain errors, missing values, inconsistencies, outliers. See, data cleaning involves so many things. How we want to correct the data. For example, when we are working in a pharmaceutical company, we are writing a specifications. How we are writing the specifications? If sex is equal to male, don't do pregnancy test. If sex is equal to male, don't do pregnancy test. If sex is equal to female, do the pregnancy test. If the pregnancy test is equal to positive, then we want to exclude that person into study. Sometimes see, inconscience is wrong info. Sometimes they are doing a pregnancy test for male also. That is wrong information. So we want to clean up the data. For that case, we want to create a perfect specifications. How we want to do this, that we will discuss little bit later. And data transformation. How we want to transform the data, that contains lot of, depending upon our requirement, we want to transform the data. We are going to create new variables, new features. All these things comes under data manipulation. See, that's the reason how you are collecting the data. I am not going to discuss. I am not going to discuss, but you need to consider about how to clean the data, how to transform the data. Now, subsetting and filtering. Almost like 7-8 years back, I signed a contract. That contract is women with more than 45 years of age with menopause having breast cancer. Breast cancer. That is the study. But in that study, I am going to use filtering. I am going to subsetting. Depending upon your requirement, you are going to get all these things. So data manipulation contains all these factors and reshaping the data. That also we can do this here itself. And sometimes, not sometimes, we want to merge and joining the data sets. How we want to merge the data sets? How you want to join the data sets? For that case, I told you, like working with big data sets. For example, combining data from multiple sources is a common in data analysis. Multiple sources. For example, a patient information is coming from hospitals, doctor's office, and laboratories, and pharmacies, and insurance companies. So same person information, you are getting some information from doctor's office, some information from laboratories, some information from some other sources. You need to merge, you need to join the data sets because I want to take a decision. As insurance companies, they are going to identify what are the common causes, something like that. For example, hospital. See, as a data scientist, you need to give a solutions. What type of solutions you are going to give it? Everybody wants to make money, first of all. So suppose, for example, in Hyderabad, for example, there are so many hospitals are there, like Apollo, etc., etc. Which hospital is best hospital? Which hospital is best hospital? Every person has their preference. They have the supporting information also. As a data scientist, as a data scientist, I can give a statement like this: which hospital has minimum average bedtime of a patient, then I am going to consider that is the best hospital. Again, I'm telling you, which hospital has minimum average bedtime of a patient, then I am going to consider that is the best hospital. So you need to come up with your knowledge, you need to come up with your solutions that will be helpful for the business. So that is the reason nowadays you won't believe it. Everywhere we are using statistics. Everywhere. If you go to any department, they are using statistics. If you see Amazon is using a lot of statistics. Why they are using a lot of statistics? Customer preferences. Suppose if I want to buy this cup, suppose when I put a shopping cart, you will find a bar like this. People who bought this cup bought these also. That means there is a correlation, relationship. Oh, bought this. So if you want to buy one product, you are end up with 10 products. Same thing here also. Aggregation and grouping the data. That is also very important. High level granularity, such as like computing totals, averages, and other summary statistics. So grouping the data allows performing operations on subset of data based on shared characteristics. So data manipulation is the very important. Similarly, for handling dates and times, suppose nowadays everything is comes with online. For example, how many products I sold? This one. So online, they are going to get orders. So date and time. For example, across the globe, for example, suppose if I am in US, I am writing like MMDDYY. So month is first two letters is for month, then after that day, and after that year. That is month. Suppose people are coming from India, they are going to like DDMMYY, DDMMYY. So you need to handle different formats of the data. So many data sets includes date and time information, which may needed to be manipulated to extract meaningful insights. Like this includes tasks such as parsing data strings, extracting components, year, month, day, etc. Everything. Similarly, text data, natural language processing, streaming, all these things is comes under. See, that's what I'm telling you. Last 10 minutes, we are working with data manipulation. So these are all the things is required. Tomorrow, when you are going for interview, you need to tell them, hey, most important is data manipulation. These are all the things we are going to discuss. These are discussed in a data sets. Now, see, effective data manipulation requires proficiency in programming languages. So proficiency in programming languages like SAS, Python, or R, as well as familiarity with the relevant libraries such as Pandas, DPLYR, that provides a powerful tools for data manipulation. See, I am encouraging people to learn certain softwares. That's very important, whether it may be SAS or it may be Python or it may be R. You can decide. Of course, by end of this session, you are able to understand which one is better to enter into corporate. That we can discuss it a little bit later. So any of this programming language is useful because you are not dealing with 10 records. You are not dealing with hundreds of records. You are dealing with millions of records. 1 million means 10 lakhs, millions of records. So when you are dealing with the millions of records, is it possible to calculate correlation coefficient manually, or even using with the calculator? It is possible? No. You need to use some programming knowledge. That's the reason you need to sharpen your programming skills. That's more important. Now, statistical analysis. What exactly the analysis? Hypothesis testing, regression analysis, time series analysis, clustering. These are all very, very important. These tools are essential for extracting insights and making data-driven decisions. What exactly data-driven decisions? Suppose depending upon time series. What is exactly time series? A series of data in accordance with occurrence of time is nothing but time series. Hypothesis testing. What is null hypothesis? The neutral or non-committal attitude of a statistician is nothing but null hypothesis. How we want to make a clusters. These are all. I'm not going to discuss like canonical correlations, response surface methodology. No, I'm not going to discuss those things. Frankly speaking, these are all the basic things. Control charts, analysis of variance, correlation analysis, regression analysis. They have excellent demand, but you need to apply that concept into reality. You need to think about, I don't care about like what is correlation. Correlation formula is like covariance of xy divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. What is covariance? 1 by n sigma xy minus x bar y bar something stand like this. See, nowadays it is not required. You have a procedure is there. That procedure is have calculating everything. You don't need to worry about it. So now you need to understand the concept behind correlation. What is positive correlation? Two variables moving in a same direction, whether upward direction or downward direction. Negative correlation, two variables moving in a opposite direction. That means one variable is moving up, other variable is moving down. There is no correlation. That is something like independent. So that type of concept is required. Regression analysis, something for example, y is equal to a plus bx. That means influences, some factors is influences some factors here itself. So those are all things is required. See, that's the reason I'm telling you, I don't go with formulas, I don't go with the concepts. I am going to think about like there is a huge gap between industry and education. Chenna Keshav, don't do this, please. Shopana, can you please remove the Chanakesha meeting? One thing is you need to make sure that when I'm talking to a lot of this, particularly Indian students, first you need to go with like online sessions are very important nowadays. Now I am in US, you are in India, most of the other countries. We are working in a room. That means you need to do in a very professional way. That's the more important is. If you are not able to, if you are not interested, please leave this meeting. Is absolutely no issue. Don't do this type of things because more than 200 people are joining this session. Now, importance of statistics programming. Statistical analysis is a methodological process of collecting, exploring, summarizing, and interpreting the data to uncover patterns. The word itself is uncover patterns, trend, relationships, and insights. So that means you know that how to collect the data, primary data, secondary data, so much of things, how to explore the data, measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion. Why we need 5 measures? Mean, median, mode, harmonic, and geometric mean. Why we need 5 measures? Similarly, here is like a range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, some other stuff. Why we need it? Every measure has its advantages. Certain situations we are going to use mean, certain situations we are going to use mode, certain situations we are going to use other statistical methods. You need to understand those type of things when you are going for interview. Now, first of all, analysis. Define the problem or research question. First, you need to decide. For example, when you are going for a hospital, what is my problem? I want to increase my profits. That is my problem. For that case, what I need to do? Simply I am going to check with what is the average bedtime of a patient. So average bedtime of a patient is, for example, 10 days. If I want to reduce it to 5 days, I can double the profit. That's the problem. So define the problem or research question. Then once you understand the problem, then you are collecting the data. How you are collecting the data? Data collection involves gathering relevant data from various sources, such as surveys, experiments, observation, or existing databases, something like that. data exploration and descriptive statistics. What are descriptive statistics? Mean, median, mode, hormone. Those are all descriptive statistics. So first step is like you need to define the problem, first of all. Second thing is, depending upon that problem, you are collecting the data. You are collecting the data. Then once you have a data is there, then you are cleaning the data. You are transforming the data. How you are going to clean the data? How you are going to transform the data? Using with your programming knowledge. That's a different. So once that is done, then you are going to give some analysis, some statistics. That's what exactly a statistical analysis plays vital role here. Now, hypothesis formulation. There is no significance difference between these two. There is no significance difference between these two mouses. That means that is a null hypothesis. Whether I am going to accept it or whether I am going to reject it, depending upon that statistical inference. Then parameter estimation. Parameter estimation, like small sample test, large sample test, etc., etc., non-parametric tests. Depending upon the situation, you are going to go with all these things. So define a problem with your first step, data collection, data exploration, then after that hypothesis formulation, inference, and parameter estimation. Depending upon that, finally you are come up with your conclusion. Then once it is done, you are creating a model. That model is for prediction of the data. Statistical modeling involves building a mathematical models to describe the relationship between variables and make predictions about future outcomes. That is nothing but a predictive analytics, the predictive analysis. It includes techniques such as like linear regression, logistic regression, time series analysis, and machine learning algorithms. So without these concepts, there is no machine learning, first of all. I know a lot of people for last 1 month I am in India. I spoke to a lot of people. They don't know what is like a regression concept. Simply they are teaching machine learning. Machine learning. That's only the reason I put this slide, put this session. Next, assessment of assumptions and model validation. Model validation, interpretation and communication of results. Most important is results. Once you have a result, you need to communicate it. That's very important. That's very important. So that means when you go back to here, these are all the steps. First step is define a problem, data collection, data exploration, and hypothesis, inference, and parameters estimation, model and prediction, assessment of assumption, finally communicating or interpretation of the results. These are all the things. So now, where we are going to use all these things? Everywhere. Statistical analysis is a powerful tool, making data-driven decisions. You have a data, then you are come up with the decisions, data-driven decisions, testing hypothesis, gaining insights to complex phenomena in various fields such as science, business, healthcare, and social sciences. Business means everywhere. For example, you are using with AT&T. Otherwise, you can go with Airtel, for example. These are all the customers. This customer number is influenced with so many factors. The very first factor is competitors' plans. Depending upon the competitor plans, second one is network availability. Third one is like customer service. So you need to identify y is equal to yij, some is equal to a plus bx plus something like this. How this factor, how this factor, how this factor. Using with your principle of least squares, maxima and minima, then you are going to calculate the normal equations. Solving those normal equations, you are getting those values. So same thing like that. That means I can get it. Oh, this many 500,000 of customers, this many people are there influenced by this factor, and this factor. That type of knowledge is required. That means apply your statistics knowledge into business. Now, visualization. The most important is visualization. You need to give some diagrams. You need to give like a bar diagram, pie diagrams, etc., 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 all these things. Visualizing data is essential for understanding patterns, trend, relationships within a data. For example, scatter diagram. Using with a scatter diagram, you can identify whether it's a positive correlation or negative correlation or something like this. Statistical programming languages offers libraries like in SAS we have like a SAS graph is there. If you go to R, ggplot is there itself. If you go to Python, it's a Seaborn is there. SAS graph module is a very powerful for creation of high quality plots and visualizations. When you see this, visualization means very important is you need to create a diagrammatic representation. And so it allows to exploration, interpretation, and presentation of data patterns, trend, relationships, etc. Everything exclusively for this. So exploratory data analysis, EDA. What is this exploratory data analysis? You have a data. You are going to identify the different patterns, that detect outliers and formulate hypotheses. All these things, graphical presentations such as histogram, scatter plots, box plots, etc. Everything here. Communication and presentation. The most important is whatever the diagrams are there, you are going to present it. Suppose if you want to buy a particular stock, what you are going to do for last 5 years, how the stock is going to do, is upward tendency or downward tendency, depending upon that you are going to take a decision. So well-designed visualizations helps to convey complex information in a clear, concise, and engaging manner, facilitating understanding the decision making. This is the important part actually. Like this, visualizations. What type of bar charts, line chart, scatter plots, pie diagrams, heat maps, geographic maps, box plot, histograms. These are all different types of diagrams. Probably everybody familiar with all of them for sure. So depending upon the diagram, I am going to decision. For example, Indian population. Indian population is increasing, but rate of increasing, growth rate is decreasing. Growth rate is decreasing means, for example, in 2040 or 2040-50, the rate of increase is zero. Then after that, probably it may decrease. So when you see as a statistician, I can imagine that, the population is increasing, but rate of growth is equal to decreasing. That's what exactly we are looking for. So these are all the things you need to understand it. How you want to do this? For ranging from general purpose tools like SAS, Microsoft Excel's very few instances, Tableau, to programming libraries, etc. There are so many visualizations there itself, Power BI, Tableau, so many things, Discoverer, business objects, all these things. But whereas those are all exclusively for visualization. Before visualization, you need to manipulate the data. You need to filter the data. You need to write a programming. For that case, a programming knowledge is required. Now, design principles. Here is, when you see this one is like, when you are creating a design, visualization design, the principle should be simplicity, clarity, consistency, and relevance. When you are creating a diagram, when you are creating a visualization chart, all these principles you need to follow. That means design principles, etc. Everything here. Interactive visualizations. That means dashboard applications. Dashboard applications means particularly for when you are going with interactive applications like tooltips, zooming and panning, etc. So many things are there itself. So many things are there. Next, ethical considerations. The most important is ethical part. What is this ethical part? It is essential. For example, as a statistician, you are creating a data, you are creating a diagram that must be supported by data. That's very important. Assuring accuracy, avoiding misrepresentation. That's more important. And respecting the privacy. And being transparent about the data sources and methodologies. Okay. Sapna, somebody is making some dots here. Can you please remove that person? I think Kushbu. Overall, visualization is a powerful tool for data analysis and communication and decision making, enabling stakeholders to gain insights, identify patterns, and tell compelling stories from the data. This more important is for visualization. Suppose this is the visualization concept. When you are creating a diagrams like this, When you are creating a diagrams like this, you will understand everything. You will understand, oh, how the business is looks like. Everything is there are so much of dashboard applications are there, particularly here itself. And most is like reproducibility and documentation. Why it is required? Statistical programming facilitates reproducible research by allowing research to document and share their code along with their analysis. That means, for example, if I am working with a project, if I am creating some reports, I need to document it. That means other people are easily to understand it. That is the very important. For example, if I am calculating the correlation coefficient or something like that, simply I'm going to calculate, like, there is a relationship between hypertension and blood pressure. Somebody wants, like, a walking speed and heart rate, something like that. Same formula, same approach, just changing those two variables, they are going to get the results. For that case, we want to make it a documentation is very clear. This ensures the transparency and allow others to replicate the results easily, replicate the results very easily. That is the more important part, particularly when you are in industry. Always think about like reproducibility and documentation. That's the more important. And the next one is like is the critical aspects of scientific research and data analysis. Ensures that finding can be independently verified, validated, and built upon by others. Here is certain things is very important here. Transparency, verification and validation. Verification and validation. That's the more important is reproducibility and verification and validation. You need to verify the data. You need to validate the data. That's also very important. And building the previous work, depending upon that previous work, quality assurance, using with your normal distribution concepts or some other concepts, quality assurance is required. Next, education and training. Education is training means we want to educate the people. For example, like, I worked as a lecturer in statistics a long time back. Then I came here in the US. Why I want to share it? Well, because when I am studying in statistics degree, I don't know SAS. I don't know anything. I don't know about the word of statistical analysis system. Simply, when I came here, I learned SAS my own. Of course, I'm giving the trainings, something like this. Because now why I want to put these statistics students exclusively for this session is, yes, there is plenty of demand is there, first of all. For that case, you need to improve your skills, first of all. That improve your skills means, according to your statistics knowledge, your industry is looking for these areas. So you need to sharpen your skills. See, education and training by providing examples of well-documented analysis and reproducible workflows, researchers can teach best practices and foster good habits in data analysis and research conduct. That's very important. Peer review and collaboration. That's also very important, particularly when you are working with, see, data science, data scientist. You are always researching the data. You are always working with the data. So for that case, we need to refine the data first of all. No, public trust and accountability. The most important, reproducibility and documentation enhance public trust in scientific research by demonstrating accountability. The more important is accountability. Accountability is particularly in Indian scenario, accountability is very important. Transparent reporting methods and results helps to build confidence in scientific findings, so and so. So these are all like very important part here itself. So how you want to reproducible? Document the data sources. Document the data sources means how we are getting the data. Suppose if you want to get Indian population, if you go to IIPS or some other websites, some other data is there itself. If you go to NIH, National Institute of Health, you will get lot of health information is in particularly in US. How you are collecting the data, how you want to pre-process the data. Clearly describe the analysis procedures, including software tools and parameters used. For that case, that concept is known as a statistical analysis plan. So when I am working in the pharmaceutical companies, we are going to develop a document. The document is SAP. SAP means statistical analysis plan. In this statistical analysis plan, I want to prove that my drug is more effective. My drug is, first step is safe. My drug is effective. And third one is my drug is much more better compared to existing drugs in the market. It has less side effects compared to existing drugs in the market. So depending upon these three questions, I am preparing what type of statistical tools is required, what type of parameters we need to calculate it, what type of approach is there itself. Everything should be documented. That is nothing but analysis plan, statistical analysis plan. That type of documentation clearly describe the analysis procedure, including software tool and parameters used. Provide annotated code for so and so here. Share data sets, code and documentation accessible to well documented format. We need to share the information because we need to get approval. We need to share the data sets. We need to share the code. We need to documentation, everything. And also version control systems like GitHub, etc. Everything here. So these are all things is required for data science people. Scalability. Statistical programming languages are designed to handle large data sets efficiently. Large data sets, that data sets means it's a billions of records. Yes, definitely, it may be like a SAS or R or Python. Yes, it is going to handle efficiently for sure. With the advancement of technologies like parallel computing, distributed computing, all these things is required for exclusively for scalability efficiently without sacrificing the performance. I put it in a red color, efficiently. See, ability of system, process or technology to handle increasing amounts of work or data efficiently without sacrificing the performance. A lot of times, if we want to go with that, that sacrificing performance. That's the reason I'm telling you you need to improve the quality without cost considerations, without increasing the cost. You need to improve the performance efficiently without sacrificing the performance, reliability or quality. Like in this context, data analysis and technology scalable is crucial for handling large and growing volumes of data and accommodating the increasing demands of processing power and storage capacity. So these are all like we are working with data like billions of records, billions of records. For that case, we want to write our programs in efficient manner. Data scalability. There are a lot of open source systems are there itself. Like you need to go with those things like this. Computer like Azure Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform. These are all things is you need to familiar with it because once upon a time, if you know SAS programming, you will get a job. If you know like statistics knowledge, you will get a job. Nowadays, not like that. If you want to enter into corporate, you must familiar with the statistics knowledge. That's more important. And at least you should know one or two programming languages and one at least for visualization and cloud platform. These four, and of course version control systems like GitHub or etc. Everything here. So these are all the skills is required to enter into corporate. That's the I want to because I don't want to upset you. These are all the skills is required. Now, algorithmic scalability. You need to write down some algorithms. How you want to do the algorithms that we will discuss a little bit later. Infrastructure is also like a computer, processing unit, memory storages, etc., everything. Infrastructure as a service, IaaS solutions, etc., everything. Performances, everything here. Now, cost efficiency is also more important. If you are spending scalable solutions, should always be cost effective, allowing organizations to scale the resources cost efficiently based on the actual usage of the demand. For that case, cloud systems came into the picture. Fault tolerance and reliability. The more important is like that's what I'm telling. Like in normal distribution, theoretically we can say normal distribution is between minus infinity to plus infinity. But practically I can say like normal distribution is -3 to +3 because the area between -3 to +3 is 0.9973. 0.9973 means probability of some value between -3 sigma to +3 sigma is 9973. If beyond is 0.0027, which is very small. So theoretically, we can say the normal distribution limits are -infinity to +infinity, but in practically -3 to +3, we are going to consider. So that's the thing. So the scalability is very, very important here itself. And now integration with the machine learning. The more important is statistics and data science is often intersect with the machine learning, because without statistics, without the data science, there is no machine learning. Statistical programming languages provide seamless integration with the machine learning libraries, particularly in Python or even SAS. They have a lot of libraries are exclusively for integrating with the machine learning part, something like this. Okay. Now, a rich ecosystem for libraries. There are so many programming languages, SAS, Python, or etc. Everything. They support vector machines, neural networks, and clustering algorithms, etc. Everything here. Now, we'll go with like visual. I told you like visualization and exploration is also a very important part. More important is like model evaluation and validation. Integration with the deep learning frameworks like PyTorch, like MXNet. These are all TensorFlow. TensorFlow is totally a deep learning concept. All are integration with the statistics. All are integration with the machine learning. So that's where you need to concentrate that part also. Deployment and productization, that's also important part. Overall, statistical programming languages provides a powerful and versatile environment to integrate the machine learning, particularly for machine learning, enabling users to perform end-to-end data analysis, modeling, and deployment workflows with a unified platform. The word itself is unified platform. That means once we are getting the data and it is going to process everything, finally we are going to get a result. That's what is this unified platform. Nowadays everybody is working with that particular part. Flexibility, the more important is flexibility. Any programming language has more flexible, because for example, like SAS is a multi-billion dollar software. It has more flexible and more user friendly also. Flexibility, or Python for data analysis and statistics, etc. Open source, particularly for SAS, is very expensive software. If you go to like R, or if you go to like a Python, both are like a open, almost like a free and open source. You can use those things also. There are so many libraries are available, particularly in R and other areas here. Custom functions, interoperability, so you are writing a programs not like exactly C or C++, Java or Fortran, etc. everything. But because R and Python, SAS is very user-friendly programming languages, they already wrote so many programs. So simply we are calling that procedures. That's all we can do that, Here itself also the same thing, like custom visualization, flexible workflows, community support and resources. Because there are so much of community support, resources are available. If you go to R, if you go to SAS, if you go to Python, there are plenty of documentation is available. You won't believe, like SAS has almost like 5 million pages of documentation. 5 million. That means 50 lakhs pages of documentation that contains a lot of sample programs, lot of information. You can use that sample programs. You can learn the concepts perfectly. You can do this. Similarly in R also, similarly in Python also, there are so much. And experts who contribute to tutorials, documentation, forums, and online resources. But only one thing is you have a intention to learn the subject. That's one thing. If you want to learn the subject, there are plenty of resources are available. That's what I want to make it very clear. Overall, like there are work for address, diversified challenges, opportunities in data analysis, statistics, and machine learning. Next 10 years, there is a plenty of opportunities exclusively for machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, and data science. These 4 areas has tremendous demand. But these 4 areas, basic knowledge is required from statistics. Without statistics, it's not possible to go with these things. You must understand what is probability, what is mathematical expectation, and calculus, particularly for maxima and minima of differential calculus. All those things is required. That means the statistics knowledge and the mathematics knowledge and a programming knowledge is required to become like a data science or artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. This part. So I told you like community and support, there are plenty of resources are available here. That means such as vibrant communities, there are plenty of information is available. There are so many of online forums are available. You will get lot of information. Documentation. I told you like so plenty of documentation is available. Blogs are available. Tutorials are available. PowerPoint presentations are available. Everything is available there itself. If you go with the cron, CRAN, cron.org, you will find our information. Python, Py for Python, you can discover, download everything, you can get it. But SAS is not a open source. SAS is little bit expensive. There are so many conferences and meetups. Why the professionals why the professionals wants to enter into here is you need to go with like communities. You need to go with the meetings. You need to go with the conferences. That's where you need to build a network. That's where really helpful to end into corporate. That much contribution and collaboration, also supporting environments. Overall, the community and support surrounding with R, Python, and SAS contribute the popularity, effectiveness, accessibility. These are all the languages for data analysis, statistics, and machine learning, make them preferred choice of practitioners, researchers worldwide, actually. No. So, real world problems. What are the real world problems? Every company wants to make a profit. For example, Emirates flight is coming from Dubai to Hyderabad by early morning 2:50. Same flight is going back to Dubai by 4:20. So first 30 minutes is get out of all the passengers. Next 30 minutes is cleaning the flight. Next 30 minutes is getting new passengers. Same crew is taking back? No. Same machine is going back. They want to reduce the idle time of their machine. They want to reduce the idle time of a machine. That is one thing. Now, why we want to go with SAS? Statistical analysis system is a powerful software suite used for statistical analysis, data management, and predictive modeling in various industries, including healthcare, finance, marketing, and academics. Here is an SAS is a comprehensive software suite developed by SAS Institute for Advanced Analytics, Business Intelligence, Data Management. It has so many tools like SAS Graph, Operations Research, Quality Control, Statistics. So many are there itself. So that is the reason SAS is widely used here itself. Data management. We can manage the data. There are so many procedures are available. We can manage the data. Similarly, we are going with analysis. Proc means, proc frequency, proc reg, proc ANOVA, proc logistic are commonly used statistical analysis. There are procedures. You don't worry about what is analysis of variance. Analysis of variance means separation of variation into meaningful components. Then after that, analysis of variance table, like a source of variation, degrees of freedom, sum of squares, mean sum of squares, etc. Everything here. Something like this. We are going to get all these things using with the SAS software. Proc SG plot, proc G plot, proc G chart, proc G replay. These are all the procedures we are going with the visualizations. Macros, repetition of the code. We don't want to go with the repetition of lot of things. So that means there are so much of code is there itself. We are going to write a code, macro programming. Integration with databases and external sources. Most of the times data stored in where? Data stored in a database. So we need to access the data. For that case, there is a module. That module is SAS Access. SAS Access provides the interface to relational databases. So for example, Oracle, SQL Server, Teradata, etc. Everything is there itself. Okay. Next, the same thing like machine learning and predictive modeling. So there are so many procedures, so many models are built-in models are available in SAS. That is the reason SAS is the #1 software in the world, particularly for business intelligence. Okay, natural language processing, NLPs. Next, model development, productization, training and certification. SAS offers so many training programs. But that is very expensive. First of all, that's very expensive. So certification exams, learning resources help user to develop so and so. What type of things? See, when you see this SAS, Python, and R, first released in 1976. Proprietary software provides full data warehouse environment enriched with statistics functionalities. Python is 1990, R is 93. These are all the things. Those two are open source. But 95%, 94% of Fortune 500 companies, they are using SAS. They are using SAS. That's one reason. Coming back to here, cost is like SAS is a paid version, R is a free version, and Python is free. Learning like moderate so and so, data manipulation, analytics modeling, graphics capabilities, test processing, deep learning, all these things. When you see one after another, one after another, so SAS is like coming back to customer support, very high customer support, common usage high, deep learning support is Python is very high. That's the reason I'm encouraging people to go with like machine learning or deep learning. Python is good actually. Test processing, etc. Everything depending upon the situation. Analytics modeling, SAS is high, R is high, Python is medium. Depending upon your requirement, you need to go with those things. But R, SAS, R, and Python is not a rocket science. It's very easy to understand the softwares. Now, when you see this one, total sales growth is 8%, SaaS solutions growth is 9%, cloud sales growth 30%, SaaS VIA is this much. 90% of Fortune 100 companies are affiliated to SaaS customers. That one word is enough. 90% of top 100 Fortune 100 companies are SaaS customers. That's the reason we want to learn with SAS programming, particularly for SAS, statistics and data science students. Suppose the data is like this. Data is not like structured data. Data is always creepy. Data is always messy. We want to take this complex data and we want to analyze the data. So this is a simple example for complex data. Now, converting the massive amount of data into meaningful information by applying right statistical approach. The more important is converting the massive amount of data into meaningful information. How? You need to apply right statistical approach. That's the more important part. For example, here, I told you like, SAS is the leader in analytics. 40 years. It started in 1976. SAS has customers in 147 countries, more than 83,000 businesses, government, university sites. 92 of top 100 companies in 2018 Fortune Global list are SAS customers. Revenue is 3.27 billion. R&D investment is 26%. Revenue, Microsoft is spending only less than 10%. Most important is FDA. What is FDA? Food and Drug Administration reviewers use only SAS software to analyze clinical trial data for drug approval process. 100% of pharma and biotechnology companies are using SAS for their clinical study reports. Now going back to here, these are all the industries: banking, communication, education, government, healthcare, insurance, life sciences, manufacturing, etc. Everything here. Now, I told you like this is information we got it from SAS website. Go and check in SAS website. All that information is available there. If you want to take the SAS certification examination, students, faculty, staff may be eligible for 50% of discount on examination fees. There are so many advantages for having the certification, something like this. Now you can go with like, here is the top 10 reasons to become a SAS certified. Any certification, whether it may be R or Python or even SAS, having certification is boost to your earning power. You also earn a digital badge, certification training packages, etc. Everything you can do this. Now global certification. When you see this one, this is the certificate, SAS certified base programmer so and so. SAS recognizes that Venkat Ikkurthy so and so. This is I got long time back the certification base one, and this is the advanced certification. And there are two symbols: certified programmer and advanced programmer symbols are there. You can put these symbols in your resume. I'm not telling like you are get a job, but I'm going to tell you like you are going to get an interview. 100% you are going to get an interview. You are going to communicate in interview, you will get a job. So that means you want to make your resume is more productive, more attractive. You must have certain additional skills is required. You need to change with your time, frankly speaking. For example, you see ambassador car, Dynora television, BPL television, HMT watch, all these things are where now? They are all in museum. They are all excellent products. Unfortunately, they are not changing with the time. Suppose if you are also not changing with the time, you know what happens? Simply, you are not able to get a job. If you and your junior goes for interview, your junior is going to get the opportunities. Make sure that sharpen your skills and learn the new technologies as much as possible, as soon as possible, and enter into the market. Particularly for statistics and data science, and these people have tremendous demand in the industry now. Now we can see where we are getting the jobs. Statistical programming. See, Novartis Hyderabad, more than 9,000 people, 9,600 people working in that place. And Bayer Pharma is there in Hyderabad. And you see this one, Biopharma BMS injects 100 millions in new Hyderabad center. Recently they started, the center. They are going to hire so many people, particularly for statistical programming and that particular areas. Like this. These are all the companies, they are using a lot of statistics programming, PPD, Peroxel, Quintel, Syneos, all these companies, like this. Those are all the companies are in Hyderabad, even India also. Okay, these are all the there are plenty of opportunities exclusively for statistical programming, provided you need to have good skills. Okay, this is every month, generally, we are going to organize a session, generally. Now we are going to realize that a lot of the students are coming to US, they are having so many problems. That is the reason we plan to conduct a session on 26th of May. That means next Sunday evening 6 o'clock. So please join in reality what exactly happened in US and what type of skill set is required to success in US, etc. Everything. I will ask my people to send this invitation to all of you. We are encouraging people to accompany their kids. That's the more important, because people wants to get into the US. My simple question is very simple. If you want to go to US, 40 lakhs is our expenditure. I'm asking a student, very simple. Your father or your mother or your banker is giving 40 lakhs. How you are going to return that money back to them? How you are going to return the money back to them? Oh, I want to do the job. Tell me, what is the skill set you have it? Skill set you have it. Those days are gone. So I'm telling you, I came in US in 99. Those days are different. Now the days are different. There are almost 300,000. That means 3 lakhs students are coming exclusively for Telugu states comes to India. So there are so many problems are there. Just you can ask the questions, etc. Everything. We are organizing the session in next Sunday around 6 o'clock. That one. Now, the next one is SAS programming workshop. This SAS programming workshop is almost like a 1 hour session program. Then we are going to open a SAS session and we are going to write a programs in front of you. Then after that, we have a question and answer session we are going to organize. Now I am giving like a 10 minutes break, and then we need to start this one again. Okay, just a 10 minutes break, and you can take a relax and have a cup of coffee, and then we can start with like this. Okay. Yeah, 10 minutes break, and we need to start now.